back here to be in the Cooper building again. You know, for the past yes, it's been, except for a couple years, it's been vacant for almost 20 years. And I know there's several of you who've just walked in and said, I've never been in here before, I've looked at the outside. But it is really, it's wonderful to be here, and filling vacant buildings, especially like this one that's in such a key part of our downtown. It can be a great engine for a high-performing downtown, which ours is growing and growing and going just great. Through the economic development efforts of our city and our code enforcement, we've worked hard over the years to make sure that this building has been taken care of well enough so that it can move forward, and that other buildings in our downtown can continue to go forward. And we're so glad, I am thrilled today that we have some folks here with some vision and the ability to take this building and turn it into a productive and vibrant place in our community. Can you tell I'm kind of excited about it? You know, I'm so subtle. Downtown Independence is on an upward trend, as you can all see, and you're going to see more in coming months. It's wonderful that we have people who will take a combination of using this historic property and working with our historic district and emphasizing that, but also with a degree of practicality to make sure that this is a functioning and capable facility that'll be a real asset to both for the owners and for all of us in our community. You know, there's been a lot of mystery about this building. Stories from the past, ghost stories. I wonder who has something to do with this, you know, about what's going on. So we asked, when we heard about this, to have this event here so we could let people see what's going on, so we could hear directly from the people involved what's going to be happening. And I'm just so thrilled that all of you are here to help as we keep moving forward with the energy and the excitement that is downtown Independence. And to tell us a little bit more about what's going to happen next, I'm going to turn the program over to Bodie Bemrose, and you're going to handle it from here. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Well, I don't do speaking as much as the mayor, so bear with me. I've got to have a little more notes to keep me on track. But I've got a lot of information to cram in here. I'll try to keep it between 5 and 10 minutes so you can still walk around. I want to give you a chance to walk upstairs. That's actually been vacant even longer than the downstairs. Thank you so much for coming down here today. I'm excited because it's my hometown, and my name is Bodie Bemrose, and my little company is VC Bemrose and Company. We're a commercial real estate brokerage firm, but most of our time now is actually investing in historic buildings. Some of you may know about our projects in Monmouth, where we bought the old Kreider's buildings, and then we've got some old buildings downtown Oregon City as well. But history is our passion, and that's why I'm so excited about this building. Real quick, I need to introduce a key player on this transaction, and that is Marion Fitz. Marion was the only broker that this seller trusted, and I think Marion's the only one that could work with this individual. And so, anyway, Marion had the patience to stick it out, and because she was committed to the community, to see this building one day get in the right hands. And so everyone, please, let's give Marion a... Thank you, Marion, for not giving up.
Yeah, 8 years.
So anyway, and you wouldn't have gotten that from an outside broker from some other town. It takes a local broker that is part of the community and believes in the community to stick with it. So by the end of the day, we probably, made 50 cents an hour. How much time and energy, when we got across the finish line. So anyway, also kudos to our city officials. To no fault of theirs, we've had some absentee landlords down here, but they have had the right vision. They have done a tremendous amount downtown improvements here for our community to enjoy. The park, just to mention one of the little projects they've done. And so Mayor John McArdle, Sean Irvine, our Economic Development Director, David Klein, our City Manager, Mike Danko, our Community Development Director, and our Building Codes official, Jeff Kennedy. So these guys work behind the scenes. You don't see them so much, but they are passionate and working very hard to keep the momentum going. And at times it's been like, what do we do? So we've sat at the table many times scratching our head like, okay, who can we bring to town and whatever. It's not a one-man show, definitely, to try to get things going. It's definitely a team effort, and we need outside investment for that and community support. So the deal here, to be honest with you, I was getting very discouraged, and I personally wrote 3 different offers, some for myself and some for others. The job was, let's just get this building sold. And unfortunately, absentee landlords have the freedom to let their buildings sit vacant and rot, and that's exactly what was going on here. So we were getting very scared about what was going to happen with this building, because there's major issues. In the ground floor, you don't see it, but you've got a leaky roof and you've got a ground floor basement that's literally rotting because there's no ventilation system, and the moisture just kept continuing to come into the basement and just rotting everything. Then Marion calls me right before Thanksgiving and says, Bodie, things have changed. And there was a glimmer of light, and we had just a short period of opportunity, I think, to make it happen. And by golly, we got this thing closed in less than 30 days. A lot of people think that I'm the owner. I'm not, actually. I wish I was. But I brought a friend, an old business colleague from Portland. He's not here today. He's a very shy gentleman. But he is an amazing individual, and I want to share some history with him so you understand who he is. Basically, his name is Florin Drutu. And the ghost historians will love this. He is from Transylvania, Romania. No joke, okay? So Florin grew up in Romania when it was under communist control. And in 1987, he and some of his family members attempted to escape. They wanted to be free. And the first time they got caught, and they were put in prison. And through a strange course of events and a miracle, the judge let him go back to his family. He was still very determined to be free, but this time he knew he had to do it alone. So he made a second attempt to escape, and he was successful. And it's an amazing story I can't go into, but the things he had to go through, like sleeping in hay piles or in barns with the animals, burying himself in mud right beneath the guards at the towers. So he is definitely a survivor, and he came here literally with just a shirt on his back. And he came here to pursue the American dream, just like our ancestors did when they immigrated into this country. And he worked his way to Portland with just literally, and started a little company with a paintbrush in his hand. And that's when I met him in 2001. After I graduated from Oregon State University, I worked for a big firm downtown Portland, and I used to manage a lot of the downtown high-rises down there. I worked for a company called Norris & Stevens. And I needed a painter, a good painter, that was, reasonably priced. And he was recommended to me by a fellow worker, and I tried him out, and he was excellent. And I've kept in touch with him. We've used him ever since. He's done numerous projects for us. He's the guy that painted all of our buildings in Monmouth, interior and exterior. And his little company has just continued to grow. And he started a family here. And he's done a couple real estate projects. They were basket cases, just very much like how I got started in the business. And just the timing was perfect. He was ready for a big project. He just finished a 10-story building back in his homeland in Romania. And he loved what we did in Monmouth. He saw it. All those buildings were vacant. And so I said, Florin, we've got the building. I got to show it to you. And it came together very fast. And I told him, I said, Florin, listen, I've done some pretty hairy projects before. I mean, they're serious big projects. And I made him crawl down here with me, and he says, Bodie, I'm not afraid. Yeah. So after I learned his history, I realized, okay, I guess he's not afraid, is he? I mean, he's had a lot more things to be afraid about. So we are very thankful to have this gentleman come and invest in our community. I'm honored to be his broker. I'm gonna be the project manager, the leasing agent, and the property manager thereafter. I'm not going anywhere. I plan on being an old guy picking bubble gum off the sidewalks. I mean, this is not a flip. This is a long-term investment for him, and he's gonna do it right. And he will start it and finish it. This is not a 10-year plan. We hope this building's gonna be looking a lot different this summer. We wanna be definitely done, and I mean, my goal would be to be 100% full within 1 year. But this summer, this is the primo time to get a lot of work done. So you're gonna see a lot of dust flying. Okay, so to let you know what's gonna happen to this building, we kinda have to go back in history. Before I go back 120 years to 1895, I wanna go to recent history to 1959. That's when this became the Hi-Ho Restaurant and Lounge. And from that time to 1995 is where we get all the dark history, the murders, the suicides, the prostitution, all that. That occurred this later generation. But for the bulk of this building's life, though, it was very vibrant. And because of the gentleman that built this building, James Shelby Cooper. This place was a wild place in the 70s. There was gambling here until the county finally shut it down, and then it went vacant. And then around 1980, a local doctor by the name of Paul Young, did a major remodel with a gentleman by the name of Redding. I can't remember his first name, Ron Redding. And so this is what you see here, how the building is now, was from that 1980 era remodel. And it hasn't changed. The building then changed hands in 1995 and became the Independence House. When Dr. Young renovated it, we remember it as Cooper's Landing Restaurant and Bar. So it went from Cooper's Landing to the Independence House, and that was short-lived, and I believe it was went vacant around 1996. And then it was vacant till 2000, actually till 2002. The owners that just sold this building to Florin, they bought it in 2000, opened the Speakeasy restaurant in 2002, and that didn't last very long. It was only about a year or so. So this building, yes, really has been vacant for 20 years. The upstairs was completely gutted of all the individual offices in 1979-80 when Dr. Young renovated the building. Now, let's go to the beginning. If you will allow me, let's go back to the glory year, what I call the glory years from the 1880s on, when independence became the hop capital of the world. J.S. Cooper was a key individual, key player in this community to help this town grow. He was obviously passionate about his community. From all the written records that I can find, I can't find anything negative about him. He was a highly respected individual. There was no mystery. None of that. That didn't happen in the early days. Not even through Prohibition period. The dark times came later. He was, from everything we can gather, he started with nothing. His father was a Baptist minister. He ran a livery and stage business between Monmouth and Independence. And then he eventually got into banking and real estate, and then he started the first bank in Independence across the street. And then he was a two-term mayor of the city of Independence. Personally, I feel this is the era that we want to respect and honor. And this is the era that we're going to bring this building back to. This is what it originally was designed in 1895. Just like Florin, our pioneer ancestors were, pursuing their American dream. Just like Florin is now. He's just 100 years later, but he has that spirit of our pioneers, and I think it's great because it's contagious, and that's going to help everybody downtown. And we hope when this building is done, it's going to open up a ton of opportunities for small entrepreneurs or other local businesses to pursue their dream or their next dream. We're all dreamers. Sometimes we finish one dream and go to another, and that's perfectly fine because we can do that in America. We can do what we want. The original building design. Okay, so if you can imagine, the front of this building, the front half of it, was a dry goods store, and then later became the Williams Drug Store. Then, kind of where that stairwell is now, that's not original, and it wasn't designed that way, but that is where the stairwell went up to the second floor office. And then on the other side of that was two more little small retail storefronts. There was a barber shop and a cigar store. I've got a photo of the cigar store right here. And so if you can, I mean, it's very dark in here, but there was tons of light coming in here. You had huge storefront windows and entryways in the back of this building here. And then upstairs, you had over 10 individual professionals. You had doctors, lawyers, dentists. I'm sure J.S. Cooper had his office up there as well. And so if you can imagine, I mean, you've got 3 retail businesses operating down here. You've got 10 other businesses upstairs. I mean, this corner was very vibrant and just buzzing. And that's basically exactly what we're trying to do. We want to bring it back, with the exception of maintaining and keeping this bar that was designed. This was actually tastefully done. It's pretty cool, actually. They designed the kitchen way overkill. It's huge, and it ate up most of the primo Main Street frontage retail space. But we have to pull that out anyway because the kitchen's caving in. It's completely rotten. So for the most part, from these bathrooms on, we have to completely demolish and tear out and start over. We have to replace all the rotten floor joists from the front by section and work our way all the way to the back. This area is more solid, and then back there, because the basement only goes about 1/3 of the distance. This is all crawl space, and when that moisture, when it was leaking and all the water got trapped in the basement, the moisture moved here and got trapped and rotted everything up here. And so, I mean, that mezzanine, if you look, it's dropping. You're okay though. On the outside, we might only allow a few, 20 people at a time to come and check out upstairs, before, and then you can be on your way. So thank you very much.
Let's give him a big round of applause. Said, we encourage you to look around, poke around, see what is, see what was, see what will be, and Bodie's available to answer any questions. And and then you have an announcement, oh Queen of Independence.
No. Okay, if you haven't already, in the local merchant, the restaurant owners around here also want to share in the celebration with Bodie, and today only, they'll get 15% off the total bill of a meal. So that would be for lunch or for dinner. So if I haven't already given you one, raise your hand and I'll come around and pick, okay. Then right after you leave here, you can go have lunch.
There you go. Okay. Thank you everybody for being here. Start wandering around.
Any chance you can knock
Okay,
this thing down
there's 6 of them.
behind the
There's 7 of them, actually.
This guy'd be interested in buying these platinum buildings on the corner.
If you're...
Things are working.
Okay.
We're hoping.